getting into, man, we got to touch it. Everybody sat there and as we watched the NFL draft, as people begin to tune in, wondering what the heck is going on. We watched one of the best quarterbacks in the country go all the way to the 5th round.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And this is so multi-layered. So this is multi-layered. This is so crazy too. His numbers, obviously, they speak for themselves. What he's been able to do in programs speak for itself. He goes to Jackson. Jackson was a losing football team. They go there, they turn around, they become the top team in the SWAC. Then they go transfer to Colorado. When they got to Colorado, the previous year, Colorado had only won one game. And every loss they had was by the margin of 29 points. Just to show you how bad they were. And they turned their program around in the process of 2 years. And made Colorado now is becoming an up and coming hotbed for new talent. So much so, the top receivers for Colorado all got drafted. Who was throwing them the freaking ball?
You can't make this up.
Who was throwing all the receivers that you draft? You went and drafted the receivers all out of Colorado. Granted, they were balling. But you didn't want to draft the guy who was delivering the ball. Now, we're going to touch several different things on this. Chris Carter came out and said that the NFL taught Shedeur Sanders a lesson. And I have to ask, what lesson was that you was trying to teach him? It's been a big campaign on trying to humble the Sanders family. Everybody wants to humble them. They don't like them. Oh, they too cocky. They too this. They too that. No, they're confident. And I must say this, nothing scares America more than a successful, confident black man. And the only thing that probably scared them more than that is a successful black father. I just gotta say it. I'm just gonna keep it real. I know it's gonna step on some toes. I just gotta say it. They are intimidated by Deion Sanders because he does what he says he's gonna do. He support his kids. He has gotten his kids to the level that they have desired in life. On top of that, his kids are confident in the way that they carry themselves and they produce. And it rubs people the wrong way. And people say, oh, well, he was talking too much. You know, he was saying this. Then I remind you, Arch Manning did the same thing for his son. Arch Manning told teams not to draft his son. The San Diego Chargers at the time were going to draft Eli Manning. Arch Manning did everything within his power to make sure his son did not go to that organization. No one batted an eye. No one said, man, He need to be humble. And might I add, Deion Sanders was a much better player than Arch Manning. But no one said Arch Manning needed to be humble. People say, oh, he's looking out for his son. He wants the best for his son. He wants his son to be in a good organization. Somebody who's going to treat his son fairly. Somebody who ain't going to mess over his son. Nothing scares people more than an involved father. That's the first layer. The second layer, this whole process, man, blessed me as a whole, man. To watch that young man, that young kid, how he handled this whole process, it blessed me. For sure. As an older individual, watching this young kid, how poised, how confident he remained of who he was, how mature he acted. He never got out of character. He never stepped outside of his character. He never said anything derogatory. He repeatedly said, this is God's timing. It's going to happen in God's timing. And I watched that family band together, stick together, as half of America was rooting against this family. They just hate the family because they talk too much. They need to be humble. You watch teams take poor quarterbacks just for the sake of not taking it. Teams like New Orleans Saints, which their fans are pissed off right now because they need a quarterback. Derek Carr ain't it. Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback. The Browns needed a quarterback. You took 2 quarterbacks. And one of the guys, I'm just going to say it, the guy I don't think is an NFL quarterback. I'm just going to say it. But you're going into training camp, and you got dang near 4 or 5 quarterbacks on the roster. And I know this was done purposely because if you take him as a 5th round pick, it doesn't cost you much, or he doesn't have much say-so in what goes on with his career early on. It doesn't cost you much to drop it. So this is your way of trying to keep him humble. You're trying to keep him humble. If I bring you in a nothing's guaranteed at a 5th round draft pick. So I'm gonna keep you humble. I want you to keep your head down and work. Now that's gonna work until he gets on the field and he starts balling. Once he starts balling, he's gonna turn up on you. Oh, okay. Yeah. For sure. Because the talent is undeniable. If you've seen the kid play, you know that the kid's talent is undeniable. He's been trained by one of the best, Tom Brady, as well as his personal quarterback coach. The talent is undeniable. His processing ability, his ability to process defenses, his ability to read defenses, his ability and his accuracy. He's not fast, but he is elusive. And his leadership. We watch this man get his head taken off week after week. And he gets up and he still led the team. I digress, man. So you, John. I just had to get that out.
You good?
That
You
was
good?
really good, man.
Shedeur Sanders, man. One of the top rated quarterbacks in this year's draft. Slips all the way to the 5th round.
144 pick.
144 pick to the Cleveland Browns, who took a quarterback which is not in the same atmosphere as Shedeur. You took him ahead of him. This is collusion at its highest. If you ever wonder if the NFL was involved in collusion, this is a grand display of it. And I won't say by most people, but people with sense, people that critical things, it makes no sense for a quarterback that going into the draft was a top 10 pick, even top 5 by some people, and to drop all the way to the 5th round, the 144th pick, it's asinine. And the quote unquote reason for it. Well, let me say this about Chris Carter. Was they teaching you a lesson when you had that crack pipe in your hand?
Oh, I knew he gonna go there.
Or when you was snorting that booger sugar? Was they teaching you a lesson then? You still went first round, right? You still went first round.
He did.
It wasn't no lesson taught then. And this kid
He ain't never been in trouble.
Never been in trouble. Grades on point. Never was on academic probation, none of that stuff. And if he was, that can easily get out. You never heard anything of the sort. Good character. Father in his life, and actually is a strong influence in his life. He's gotten better every year he's played. Confident. And if you're going to play any sport, let alone quarterback, you're definitely going to have to be confident. And was Baker Mayfield taught a lesson, or did he go number 1?
Or Johnny Manziel.
Or Johnny Manziel.
Or Jameis Winston.
James Winston.
That's called stealing.
Mr. Crab Leg himself. But shout out to Jameis Winston. I rock with him, man.
I just an example. There's no shade to nobody. Like this is about Chris Carter.
But going into the draft, so none of this is there's no glaring holes as to why a top 10 projected pick fall all the way to the 5th round.
To the 5th round.
And all you have to say is because he's cocky.
We know what it is.
We know why.
This is the only way they can get to Deion Sanders. This is the only way that they can hit him.
They can stick it to him because they didn't do this to Eli Manning and Archie Manning. And when Deion said the same thing that Archie Manning said,
they didn't like it. And they want to teach Deion a lesson.
They want to teach Deion a lesson. And then shout out to Shedeur, man, to keep the same decorum throughout the process. And then not only that, you had a little jerk kid prank phone call him during this whole ordeal.
Hold on, let's get his name out there because he needs the publicity that
what
he's looking
is his
for.
Name?
Let me look his name up.
Need to be slapped.
We're not gonna sweep that under the rug.
Let's see here.
They don't want
Jax
to.
Ulbrich.
Jax Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator's son,
Little jerk.
got the number from his dad
Out of his dad's laptop.
out of his dad's information.
Mm-hmm.
They say his dad didn't know about it. I could probably say his dad probably didn't know about it. But the jerk ended up, and he's 21 years old. He knows better.
Yeah.
And from where I'm from, he should have been getting his tail kicked
Facts.
and his chest beat in, because that could have cost your dad his
His
job.
job. Yeah, you can, lose a job, let alone you can be sued for that. That's his personal information.
And let me tell you how good of a kid this young man is, Shedeur Sanders. They asked him about it and asked him, why didn't you make a big fuss? This is what he said. We've all done stupid things.
And how old is Shedeur?
How old is Shedeur? Let's see.
23 years old.
23 years old.
Speaking with that type of wisdom.
That was his resolve when he was asked. And I'm pretty sure it hurt his feelings. I'm pretty sure it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because all his teammates and friends are there, and you get a call and everybody kind of like, just to find out it's a prank call. And his resolve, or his grace towards the situation was, man, we all done stupid stuff.
And then it was so great to see how they kept each other lifted up during this whole ordeal.
Shout out to Shiloh, man. Shiloh was a real big brother.
Yes.
Keeping his brother's spirits up, man, when he know his brother should have been off the board.
Yep.
Saying stuff like, man, they doing you like this, I don't know what they gonna do to me. God, dog. Well, shout out to Shiloh, man. He signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all those Colorado boys, man. Deion, man, came in, man. He got them guys in there, man. Some defensive players got in there too, for sure. Of course, we know Travis went number 2. He went to Jacksonville. Cam went with him to Jacksonville as well. Shiloh, Tampa Bay. Wester went to Baltimore. Jimmy Horn Jr. went to Carolina.
With
I'm trying to get everybody. I'm trying to remember everybody.
Then the linebacker went to
Levante Bentley went to Cincinnati. So they had quite a few people, man. Shoot.
Oh, and on top of that, they had the most players drafted.
That is true. I seen
in the
that.
country.
I seen that.
But you don't hear no headlines about that.
Hey.
You hear no headlines about that.
Hey. We gonna say it here.
Now let that be known.
It's a bunch of tomfoolery.
I'm sorry, I cannot let this go. What is Chris Carter's problem?
I don't know why he came after this young man. Like, you talking about kicking somebody while they down?
What is his problem?
What possibly could he had learned other than I got fooled over?
All the draft experts has him in top 10.
And I normally don't agree with none of these guys, but shout out to Stephen A. Them. They've been riding for the kid.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just anybody with half a brain. And I don't know if Chris Carter smoked them brain cells all the way or what. But anybody with half a brain understands that this kid was getting messed over. And it had nothing to do with his ability. It had nothing to do with his behavior. It had everything to do with Deion Sanders.
Facts.
It's because his last name is Sanders. And you want to stick it to his dad.
Facts.
because you was unpleased with some of the stuff his dad said.
This kid threw for over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks, with a QBR 75.5
Had the highest QBR in the country.
and a 74% completion percentage.
Had the
How's
highest completion percentage in the country too.
so?
And
How's that
won the Golden Arm Award.
award? So how's that not first round? Please tell me how that's not first round. Boy, this is cahoots at the highest level here. And like, shout out to Stephen A for saying this. He said this is collusion like Colin Kaepernick.
It is. Because they want the humble Colin Kaepernick.
Facts. And so this is very, very eerily similar to that.
Colin wasn't in the NFL because he couldn't play. He wasn't in the NFL because they wanted to humble him.
Mm-hmm. And when these good old boys get together and want to collude, that's what happens, even though it goes against their best interests.
And if you're an owner, man, or GM, and your team needed a quarterback and you didn't take this young man, shame on you, man.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. You part of the problem with your prejudiced self.
And what happened
for the New York Giants, for the New York Giants, man, for the Raiders, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the New Orleans Saints, even the Cleveland Browns that took him later. Shout out, man, all y'all, man, are part of the problem. And Shedeur Sanders, man, keep being you.
Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong.
You ain't got to prove them wrong. Just be yourself because you're a good quarterback. And you have the intangibles, man, to be a great quarterback. You fail because the system. You didn't fall because of you. And I'm going ahead and say it. I'm going to say it. A lot of white people out here been hating on Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders. They can't stand them.
That's a fact.
And you have some of these tomfooleries out here too, like Chris Carter. He trying to be a good old boy now because he just got his rear spanked not too long ago.
Yep. Boy, that guy there, man, something else.
And I couldn't believe he got on there and said that about that boy. How about they taught him a lesson? Of what?
If I was that, I would like, what lesson?
What lesson are you teaching him?
What lesson?
He didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah, like he got in trouble. Everybody in the NFL is cocky. Everybody. Anybody who's played competitive sports.
You have to be if you want to be good.
It's somewhat cocky. Even if you play ball in the hood, if you wanted to be good, you were somewhat cocky of how you carried yourself, how you talked. Because it shows a sign of your confidence in yourself. Man, Chris Carter, man, you.
Clown. Straight clown.
Man. But man, we're gonna move on, man. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders, man.
Shout
Go
out,
do your
man.
thing, man. All the Colorado boys. Shout out, man. Man, if you're black, man, be a Colorado fan. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Straight real.
That's a fact.
We see why you need to be.
Yeah. We know where the real one's at.
You know. And shout out one more thing. Shout out for what Deion Sanders did for Jimmy Horn, man. Being a father figure for that young man.
Facts.
While his
They
dad
don't
is
talk about that.
incarcerated.
They do not talk about that.
Deion promised his father he would get him to the league, and he did just that.
Facts. They don't talk about that.
Now his daddy got something to come home to.
That's actually changing lives. Not going and winning games and championships and bowl games. He's changing lives, impacting lives. Not just using these players so I can win bowl games or a championship so I can keep my job and my millions.
I mean, Deion already paid.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm saying, but a lot of coaches do they coach just to do enough to. It's all about winning for them, and if you get yours as a kid, you do. If you don't, you don't.
Don't, right.
And Coach Prime is saying, if you do what I tell you, I'll help you get to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a pro player, if you do what I tell you, I'll help you go pro. But I will also tell you if you're not a pro player, and I'll help you come a career in somewhere else.
You can still play, but you know where this ends.
Like, I know a lot of y'all don't watch their videos, but like it's certain guys who are starting businesses, and he has gotten banks to come in and help fund their businesses. There's guys who want to be a fireman.
Yeah.
A guy's now interning, so when he graduates,
he can be a fireman.
He'll be a fireman. Like, he's doing those things for those kids. So when this is all over, they have a career. It ain't like, man, what I'm gonna do now? He telling them, man, 95% of y'all ain't going pro.
Yep.
Only 5% of this room going pro. And the 5%, you need to listen to me, because I'm gonna get you there.
Yep. That's a fact.
So, man, he's doing a great job for those young men. He's teaching them how to be men.
Fact.
Some of those young men on that team, man, they had babies. And he went and set up trust funds for those kids, for their kids, through banks. Set up a trust fund. So that NIL money they getting is some of that's going to that trust fund for their child.
Straight like that.
So when college over, you're not wondering, man, what I'm gonna do for my kid.
Yeah.
He's doing that for those kids, for those young men. They're actually changing those young men's lives. They're actually training them up to be men.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them the truth. He's a straight shooter with them. It's a give and take relationship. He say, hey, if you play well for me, I'll make sure I do some things for you.
Yeah. If you do what you're supposed to do. All right, man. Let's